let's fast forward into college. I think we're past the statute of limitations on this.
Yeah.
I may have told this story before.
Okay.
And everybody, I have a master's, so it's beyond the degree that I got for this. So
Right.
come at me,
I still
bro.
can't believe you have a master's degree.
Come at me, bro. So I went to a college in Ohio that was very. This is one of the things I love about it, and probably all colleges do this, but I'm just going to pretend like mine's the only one that does it. You have to be very well rounded, so you have to take different. You have like tier classes: tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, depending on what year you're in, and they have to be something like way outside of what you're doing. So I'm in engineering. Or I was in engineering. I picked as my tier 3 Russian literature.
Okay.
It seemed like the right thing to do at the time.
Okay.
And everybody in that class, and I can remember the class layout as we're sitting here. I remember what the room looked like. We were in a U, and the teacher was walking around in between us.
It's called a semicircle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I call it a U. And there was maybe 2 people in there that were actually in Russian literature as a major.
Okay.
Which I'm like, what are you going to do? Work at a Piggly Wiggly?
Right.
You ain't doing anything with that degree. They're probably on CNN right now talking about Russian literature. While I'm sitting here talking to you about
Paul Hetherington.
Paul Hetherington and penises. There's a title for you. Anyway, we had everybody other than those 2 people was exactly like me. There were physics majors. There were a couple of engineering majors. There were a couple of biology majors. They were just in there because it was a tier 3 and it looked like the easiest of the tier 3s that we could take.
Why would Russian literature look easy?
I don't remember.
It's all in Russian.
I don't remember what the course.
Can't
No,
understand.
I mean it's translated.
Oh.
So there was.
All they're talking about is vodka.
So this is our senior year. This is our last year. For those of you who don't know what a senior year is. And
that's your penultimate
we
year.
saw that there was a project that was a report on a book, one of the and you had a list of books that you could choose from, and it was worth 20% of your grade.
Okay.
We all figured out that if you just after we had like 2 tests, the grading was pretty lenient on the tests.
Yeah.
We figured we could, as long as we just pay attention and study the notes the night before the test, we'll get 80% in the class. Who cares about that 20%? Ain't nobody got time for this book report because, by the way, we're all seniors. We've all got major projects.
Right.
So nobody did the report.
Okay.
Nobody, except for those 2. And we get into the day of the final, Darren.
Yeah.
The building that I was taking this Russian literature final in was across the street from the computer lab. Now, kids, this is back in the 90s. Not everybody had a computer and a printer in their room.
You had to actually wait.
You had to wait in line. You had to give them
computer.
someone your school ID. Yeah. They would call a number. You would get a computer for a period of time.
Yeah.
You could print. Everybody would go over to the one
You could use it unlimited
printer.
time if nobody needed it.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's
where I wrote my reports.
That's how it was back in the day.
Yeah.
So as the professor is passing out the final, it's a 2-hour final.
Okay.
He says, before he starts passing it out, he's like, I want to thank you all. It's been a great quarter, blah, blah, blah. By the way, your report is due at the end of this final period. And I'd like to inform everyone here that if you do not turn in a report, you fail the class. And we all looked at each other because we had all agreed we ain't doing the report. So he passes around the final. We're all like, oh,
Uh-huh.
So I rushed through the final as fast as I can rush. I don't even remember I think there were some essay questions. I was just writing whatever.
Right.
I had the book because he handed out the books that you were going to do the report on. It was about that thick.
Okay.
Written by some Russian guy.
For people listening, it's like 10 inches.
Oh, yeah. And me and half the class ran over to the computer science lab about the same time. I got in front of a computer. I had never even opened this book.
Oh, my God.
And I
You were giving me a panic attack.
I had 30 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And I remember this, it had to be 10 pages long minimum. I had 30 minutes. And I literally just opened to a page and start typing.
Uh-huh.
I'm just all the bullshit that is in me about. I was reviewing like a Star Wars thing and then inserting names from the. I'm serious. I was just like, and then he was on Moskowine and he met a small green guy called Chehesky, and just tearing through it and went as far as I could go. And there's only like,
and you close with like, and the moral of the story is I hope the Russians love their children too.
And there's only like 10 minutes left before he's gonna leave the class. And this is in another building. I have to cross the street. I have to leave. I have to get, and I have nothing left in me. And I start manipulating the font size and the margins until I get it to exactly 10 pages. I hit print. I run, I grab it. I couldn't staple it because I didn't think about that.
Right.
I run back over
Oh my God.
to the professor's room. And I realize that I don't have anything stapled together as I'm going, and I'm out of breath. And so is the other like 10 or 15 people that did the exact same thing that I did. And I'm like, I didn't staple it. I don't have a stapler. And he just kind of smiled at me. He's like, you don't need one. And he put it down. He didn't even read it. He just wrote A and circled it. And he said, what's your name? I was like, I told him my name. He went down the thing. He's like, you passed. And I was like, that was the most awesome lesson you ever taught anyone, is that you can just completely blow off an assignment and not do anything and then just mail it in at the last second. I thought that was it. I was like, because if you fail your tier 3, it doesn't matter. My major has nothing to do with Russian literature. But if you fail your tier 3, you can't graduate. That's why all of us looked at each other like, holy shit.
I had a professor who was handing out all the things, and he says, be sure to read every question before you answer, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And he hands it down or that. Or
at the end, it says something like, pull your out or whatever.
No. At the end, it said, you don't have to take this final exam. And he stood there just leaning up against the wall, watching us. Everybody was just feverishly writing. And he had questions. One of the questions on the final exam was, who is Alex Ogborn? Okay. Alex Ogborn is a singer-songwriter who used to perform in bars and clubs all the time in Johnson City, Tennessee. And he was dating a girl who was in the school. And he, actually, I wasn't a friend of his, but my best friend was a friend of his girlfriend. And we partied with them one night.
Okay.
So I knew him personally. And but she like talked about him all throughout class.
Yeah.
And that was one of the questions. And people started looking up like, why are we talking about Alex Ogborn?
Yeah.
You know, and you go through the whole thing, and then you get to the last question, last page is, you don't have to take this. And people were getting so pissed. And then another thing, and when I was in high school, in my high school English class, I would never read the assignments. And I don't want my kids to hear this because I want them to be better students than I was.
Yeah.
But there was me.
Kids, don't listen to this podcast.
There was me. There was a girl named Dana. And there was a guy named Haynes. Okay. And the three of us would sit there, and our teacher would start going into the book, okay, the lesson. And Dana would say, well, that's a lot like, you know, what's going on right now in the Ukraine, or that was like a lot like what happened on Wall Street. And I said, yeah, I mean, you know, when they were, you know, everybody was marching. Yeah. And then Haynes would jump in, and we'd all start talking about something that happened last week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we would like we were inspired by something that happened in the book.
Yeah.
And we would talk, and the rest of the class knew exactly what we were doing. We were killing time.
Yeah.
And our English teacher just loved the fact that we were so like these kids today are able to take literature, and then it's inspiring them to, you know, correlate it with things that happened today.
Yeah.
We just didn't do the stuff.
So, okay,
I was a horrible student.
We are running long.
That's fine.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
But I do have one more story that's the same thing. My friend Tay, he was the best man at my wedding.
Yeah.
We both went to OU, and his tier 3 course was something to do with art. And you know what? Now that I say this, I don't think it was tier 3. I think it was just a general class that he took. Anyway, the first day, the professor said, you need to bring a broom to class every day.
Okay.
It's either a broom or a mop. We'll just say broom.
Okay.
So every day people are bringing this broom to class. He never mentioned it after the first day. All the way up into the final. And the day of the final, Tay went to go take the final with his broom, and we were laughing at him because he looked funny.
He really brought a broom.
Yeah. A broom.
Oh, okay, a broom. Okay.
And this was finals week. I think it was our junior year. I think, it had to have been our junior year because we were all living in a house in Mill Street. Me and Box and Tay and another one of Box's friends. And Tay left for his final. We're drinking. It's finals week. We're all done with theirs. And,
sure.
And Tay's going. And he came back like 20 minutes later with his broom. And we're like, what the hell was it? And we're like, dude, did you have the wrong day for your final? And he's like, no. We walked in. Everyone sat down. They all had their brooms. He walked in and he said, does everyone have their broom?
Mm-hmm.
And we all said yes. And he's like, you all pass. Have a nice summer. And that was it. All you had to do to pass the final was bring your broom. And
he told them every day to bring a broom?
Every day they had to bring. The syllabus said you're required to bring a broom every day to class. And as long as they brought it to the final, they passed the final.
That's awesome.
So I want to tie these two stories together.
Okay.
There had to have been somebody in that class that studied their ass off for that final.
Oh, yeah.
And was so pissed when all these chuckleheads came in with their brooms and just passed. The same thing with my Russian literature class. Those two people that were taking it seriously had to be so pissed that they spent all this time on it. And they knew that the majority of us ran over to that room and just literally handed in bullshit that the guy didn't even look at. Literally did not even lift the cover page. I could have given him 10 sheets of blank paper
Mary
with the
had a
cover
little
page.
lamb,
Yeah. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
I would love to read that. I'd love to read
I don't have it anywhere. I've found some old college papers, but that one's gone.
Oh, my God.
All right. Well, this one's gone. This has been a good one.
Were you going to talk about venomous beaver?
Oh, Jesus. Okay, real briefly. Real briefly.
Yeah, if that's even possible.
You guys may notice that there's been some pictures of a beaver on our site.
A venomous beaver.
A venomous beaver.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you guys in on what I'm doing, what we're doing, but basically what I'm doing because I'm going to be going to this concert. We've designed a Venomous Beaver tour t-shirt. Mm-hmm. The one on the site right now is
badass.
It's pretty badass.
Yeah.
It's an AI generated image. Mm-hmm. So I was like, wow, that actually looks pretty cool. It looks like a concert t-shirt. I mean, I'm going to do some editing to it, but I think it can pass as a concert t-shirt. Mm-hmm. At the end of this month, I'm going to see The Hue and Megadeth. And in theory, Five Finger Death Punch, but I think I'm going to leave right after Megadeth. I'm going to meet...
You're not going to stay for Five Dinger Death Punch?
I don't know anything. I don't know.
Dude.
Are they good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you kidding?
I know.
Check them out.
All right.
I'll
listen to a few songs.
I will. I mean, not like I have a lot of respect for you now, but if you leave and skip out on Five Finger Death Punch, you'll lose. Crazy.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll stay and see them.
Okay.
But here's the deal: is that my ticket gets me in to meet The Hue. Mm-hmm. Or The Who, whatever they're called.
I'm pretty sure it's not The Who.
It's The Hue.
It's the Guess Hue.
And I get to get a picture with them, hang out with them in the VIP area. I'm going to wear my Venomous Beaver t-shirt.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be in a picture with them, so they're going to want to see what the shirt is that I have that's going to be in the picture. And here's what I'm doing, and it's going to start there. Mm-hmm. I am developing lore and history around Venomous Beaver.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk about them like they're a real band.
Yeah.
We took pictures. Me and Bess took pictures at Glop. There was a stage with a guitar, and I got pictures of me. I'm tuning the guitar for Venomous Beaver about to take the stage.
Yeah.
All these cool.
Yeah,
things.
they got their start like in '86 or '87.
Yeah,
right?
this is their reunion tour.
Nice.
There was a lot of drugs with Venomous Beaver band, now they're coming. This is their comeback tour.
Is the bass player with them? Because he always said he was not going to play with Mark again.
He is. They are on their 6th drummer.
Okay.
So
they're like Spinal Tap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to push this Venomous Beaver because I guarantee you somebody's going to ask me about this shirt, and my hopes are
I'm going
that it's
to
somebody
push this
from the
Venomous Beaver. Okay.
I want so bad to get into a conversation with someone from the Hue about my Venomous Beaver t-shirt.
Yeah.
And a side goal is to impress them so much with my Venomous Beaver that they offer to let me meet Megadeth, because I would really like to meet Dave Mustaine.
Dave Mustaine.
And if I actually meet Dave Mustaine, I'm going to have to bring... Dude, I made this. It's funny.
Did you ever see when Megadeth were on Letterman?
No.
Dave was going crazy because Megadeth was coming on, and every time he would say Megadeth, and the Megadeth logo would come on, Paul and the band would go ape, you know, and he goes, I guess that makes me Mega Dave. And then Mega Dave would come up on the screen. Endlessly entertaining.
Yeah.
And then Megadeth came out, and I think they scared him, which all the bands scared. Weezer. He says, "What, Weezer? I think they scare me, Paul. I hope they're not neglecting their studies."
Yeah. But my goal is to make as many people believe that Venomous Beaver is a real band as I can.